The Pittsburgh Steelers. I have some numbers for you guys. Genuinely insane numbers. Okay? We talk a lot about how great TJ Watt is and that maybe he's just the most valuable player in football, like overall. I know Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, all these quarterbacks, you have to put them in the conversation. But TJ Watt's impact, I mean, I really, listen to this. With Watt last year, we've said this a couple times, 7-2. 17.2 points per game, 286 yards, 25 sacks, 16 takeaways. Without Watt, 1-6 record, 25.3 points per game. That's 8 more. 389 yards. That's 100 yards more per game. 8 sacks and 5 takeaways. So if you measured this out, the sacks and the takeaways over a 16-game schedule, and then also compared the points per game and yards per game, here's the difference in the Steelers' ranks in the NFL. Second in points to 30th in points. First in yards allowed to 31st in yards allowed. They'd be the only team under 200 with TJ Watt. 7th in sacks versus 32nd in sacks. Tied second in takeaways to 32nd in takeaways. I mean, I was blown away.
He's the best player in football.
I saw someone, I was reading a Reddit thread where I saw those numbers too. And the first comment just said, this is fucking insane.
He's the best player in football.
It's the TJ Watt all time 59, 26 and 2 with Watt, 1 and 10 without him in Pittsburgh. I don't understand how one defensive end makes that big of a it's genuinely mind-boggling.
It really is out there. I got made fun of for saying if he's not on the field, they're just irrelevant.
It's crazy.
I totally agreed with you. I just thought it was like he's fully healthy now. It's like
he got mad that you were assuming he might be out.
No, I just thought it was dumb you stated the obvious. It's like saying, if the Bills don't have Josh Allen, they're going to not be as good. Like, yeah, of course.
But can someone can someone explain to me?
It's just a defensive. Like I was getting with it's a defensive player. Like it shouldn't make that big of a like.
I mean, you can make a big difference. Like when you lose a top 5 defender in football.
He is just that good.
I don't know. There seems to be something wring with that. That's just genuinely.
Did you see the post today? Did you see the post today? Him and JJ were helping each other practice today.
Oh, look, I'm fine with that.
TJ Watt,
best against best,
is that good. And I've said it for a long time. He is the Patrick Mahomes of the Steelers. He's the Josh Allen of the Steelers. He's the Jalen Hurts of the Steelers.
I mean, their defense goes from first or second in 3 categories to literally last. And it's crazy. Sorry, Ziggy, you were saying?
I was going to say, if TJ Watt is the Patrick Mahomes of your team, you're screwed. Straight up.
Well, yeah, we were, of course. I mean,
no. What happens he's saying like you don't want your defensive end to have to be the Patrick Mahomes of your team.
Because look, I get that the on-off splits for TJ Watt are very good, but it's difficult. Like the reason the Steelers have been able to generate so much success up to this point is because when you're headlining with like TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward, like you're always able to raise the floor and get 8, 9, 10 wins out of that. The problem is if you really want to do something in the NFL, you need ceiling raisers. And the ceiling raising can't come from any position other than quarterback. So how the Steelers do this year in terms of more than just continuing Tomlin's winning record streak is going to depend almost entirely on how Kenny Pickett plays.
Well, I agree with you. But also, you look at this team last year was 2-6. Pickett didn't get his first snaps until week 4. And then his first start, I believe, could be wrong, was in. For 2 of his first starts were in. He didn't start that game.
That's when he came in.
In Philly and in Buffalo, I believe, were 2 of his first starts.
I think I have it right here. They started 1-4 in his first 5 games.
Yes.
If you include the Jets, then it was at Buffalo, at Miami, at Philly.
Yes.
And then versus Tampa Bay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we won that game.
Yes, you beat Tampa Bay.
He comes in as a rookie quarterback, a kid who hasn't really taken any snaps, and he's on the road at Buffalo, on the road at Philly, on the road at Miami.
Tampa Bay's Jets are great defenses too.
Which is brutal. And still found a way to play a meaningful Week 17 game with a chance to go to the postseason. And keep in mind, TJ Watt, as we said, was hurt for 7 weeks?
Yep.
So I think
1-6 without him.
Kenny Pickett, he's a good passer and a good quarterback. I think he takes a leap. There's no reason to see why not. The offensive line's a little bit better. We have some more weapons. The defense is great. Watt's healthy. There is no reason to believe that this team can't make some serious noise.
Well, you also started... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ziggy. You could respond.
I was going to say, Pickett's going to need to improve because around him, they didn't do a whole lot, right? They got Isaac Seumalo from the Eagles to play Does he play left guard or right?
Left guard.
I can't.
I mean, that's a great addition, but yeah.
Yeah, but he'll
The
stabilize.
The offensive line is better than it was last year.
Oh yeah, it is, but it's not a lot better. I mean, Broderick Jones, you're going to be starting a rookie at left tackle probably day one with like that. That'll be fine, I think. But then receiver, I mean, you added Allen Robinson, who didn't do a whole lot with the Rams. Otherwise, same offensive coordinator, same quarterback, similar offensive line, similar receivers. You need development from Kenny Pickett, right? It's not like some of these other teams where making changes around him is doing it.
You also look at the schedules, right, of last year versus this year. Like what Pickett was able to do last year was pretty decent against what was a tough schedule, tough defenses all around. Now you really got nobody. Like this is an easy schedule.
To me, it's the end of their schedule. I think when I go through and have them like game by game for the Steelers, I think I had them 10-4 and then losing the final 3. It's a tough end to the season.
Well, I think this could be an 11-12 team for sure.
Oh, it could. Like, yes, it could.
I think there's talent. I think they're good. I think again, yeah, of course, it all falls onto the shoulders of Pickett.
Yeah, and Ziggy, I kind of disagree with your statement that the Steelers didn't do a lot around him. I think Samalo and Broderick Jones. If Broderick Jones is good,
I think the
left side of that O-line is much improved.
Much better.
But then you're right. Receiver, Allen Robinson, is there really anything left in the tank? You're kind of hoping George Pickens takes a step up again. But I do think, that offensive line improvement could help a lot.
But I also like the addition. Like, you have more blocking and another big tight end with Darnell Washington in the third round.
That was another great pick.
Yeah.
But we saw it all sort of come together for the Steelers when they kind of took a little bit off Kenny's plate and started running the ball better towards the end of the season. They were 7-2 with the final 9 games and ran for over 100 yards in 9 of the final 10. So they just weren't scoring. They were running the ball well, but they genuinely weren't putting up points or generally weren't putting up points that well. I do think, though, when you combined Pickett getting more comfortable with TJ Watt coming back, that's when you saw the 7-2 record to end the year. 6-1. He had 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, a couple game-winning drives. Ended the year with the 8th best QBR. All these great stats. But you're right, Ziggy, what you said at the very beginning of this segment. TJ Watt's essential for the Steelers to be a competitive team. Kenny Pickett is essential for them becoming a contender. Yeah. And that's what you have to circle if you're a Steeler fan. Say, will we see him take a jump forward? And will they kind of let the reins off him a little bit as a passer? Because I just don't think you can win games. Like, the Steelers can win games running the ball like they did last year, but you're not going to compete with the Bills and the Chiefs. And you've done it with the Bengals, but late in the year Bengals, he's going to need to make some big throws.
If the offense isn't there.
It can't just be, hoping Najee has a good game and Kenny doesn't make mistakes.
I think there's no reason to believe that Pickett won't have a very solid
I think I'll have a good year as well. Yeah.
Before we move on, there was a very funny comment.
I saw you start laughing.
And it's not a dig at Jack, but someone just commented he was talking bad about Kenny Pickett, and then he called him Kenny Pick Six. I thought that was
Kenny Pick Six was a great. I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah, I didn't hear that, and as Paul likes to say, I audibly laughed out loud at that.
I don't know. Wait, did he throw 1 pick six last year?
Have you heard Kenny Pick Six before?
No.
I thought it was great.
That was funny. I don't think he threw 1 pick six last year, did he?
I don't think
he did.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Mark Robinson caught one.
Okay.
Robinson. Who's Mark Robinson?
Mark Robinson, he's a linebacker from out of Ole Miss. I can't even remember who he plays
Mark Robinson is on the...
In practice. That was the only pick six I knew that Kenny Pickett threw last.
Mark Robinson's on the Steelers. Actually, their whole linebacking core changed? Did you know that? All 3?
Steelers?
Yeah, all 3 are different now. So Devin Bush, Miles Jack, Robert Spillane are gone.
I liked Spillane.
In comes Cole Holcomb from Washington, Landon Roberts, the Dolphins. Great blitzer, apparently. Great getting pressure on the quarterback.
I wouldn't say he's a great blitzer. I think he's really good when it's a run play. He's gone through the middle.
No, he's great.
I like
working around the line of scrimmage, but apparently not so much.
No, he can't cover for anything.
Yeah. And then Tanner Muse as well from Seattle are all coming in.
The one thing about the was he the Clemson? I think he's Clemson. The one thing about the Steelers is, and I hope this is where JPJ fills the role we need him to fill, and is who we want him to be, is the secondary is weak. And those numbers you brought up before with TJ Watt is simply because of this. With Watt, this becomes one of the best front sevens and pass rushes in the NFL. Mm-hmm. When there's pressure on the quarterback, when Watt's there, it's very effective, and obviously it's hard. Without Watt, there's zero pressure, and this was a bad secondary.
Yeah.
So without him, no pressure. These quarterbacks are standing back and cooking our corners, which is why I'm hoping that JPJ can take that, be who we want him to be.
Yeah, you lost Cam Sutton. We talked about him going to Detroit, and Terrell Edmonds goes to Philly.
Edmonds was terrible.
But you brought in Joey Porter Jr., Patrick Peterson, who, again, I don't think he was great last year, but statistically and PFF grades, all that stuff was awesome for the Vikings, and Keanu Neal as well. So you did address that issue.
It was a big issue.
So we'll see. Yeah, if the secondary's good, I mean, you already have Minka back there.
Secondary
defense. If the secondary is good, the Steelers' defense will be top 3.
Secondary is good. Watt's healthy.
Yeah, Minka's garbage to me.
What's Austin Jackson up to?
What?
Austin Jackson. What's he up to?
He's still a right tackle.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
All right, good. Yeah.
Okay, now
Wait, what are you talking about? He's still a right tackle. Actually, he was hurt last year.
Was he? Oh, sorry.
the Cleveland Browns.
Minka hurt last year?
The Cleveland Browns. Minka, was he hurt?
Minka, what? Was he?
I'm trying to. I can't remember.
Like the best safety in the league.
I don't know. So Javon Holland beats him out any day of the week. But back to what you were saying. Go ahead.
Who's that?
Javon Holland.
Harrison Smith is still again
safety
old
for the Dolphins, who's incredible.
Wise.